I did want to showcase what the build is going to be like for those that are going to be doing it in the mid game. In the mid game, you do get a chest piece to give you +2 strength, which is really nice. So this is my stat spread with that in mind. You don't have to follow this to the T, but I really like some of the weapons you get in Act 2. And when you multi-class with the Eldritch Knight, you can turn any weapon into a thrown weapon, so you can replace the weapon from Act 1 with something better and still do some really great damage. Skill proficiencies, again, pick literally whatever you want, it doesn't really matter all that much. Stat spread here, the reason strength is 17 because we will increase that to 18 with Tavern Brawler. Your dexterity will get increased to 16 with another trait as well. And then Constitution 16 just because you want the extra HP, and because you are part Barbarian, you do gain increased AC with your Constitution modifier as well as Dex. Leveling up for the mid game is going to be exactly the same as early game. Again, Berserker will be your subclass because you want the Enraged Throw. First feat ability improvement, get strength up to 18, or choose Tavern Brawler. Tavern Brawler is the better choice because that gives you 18 strength and it gives you the additional damage and attack rolls, which is really nice when you use your thrown stuff. Level 5 Barbarian, you do get the extra attack and you get increased movement speed, which is nice. We're going to start the multi-class because now you want to put points into fighter. Fighting style, you don't want defense because you're not wearing any armor, so this is going to serve no purpose. You want to go with great weapon fighting, even though you're not really going to be using the weapon in melee combat all that much. This is still nice to have for those instances when you do. Okay, level 3 fighter, you are going to be choosing the Eldritch Knight. It doesn't matter about cantrips or anything like that. Pick whatever you want, mainly because you're not going to be using them all that much. Spells, again, pick whatever you want. You're really not going to be using them as this build, so it doesn't really matter. I would say choose at least one ritual spell, like Longstrider, to get the increased movement speed though, because you can use this outside of combat. And at level 4 Eldritch Knight, again, spells doesn't matter, but you get another feat. And this is when I like taking Athlete for the increased jump distance. That way I can get some better height, and I choose Dexterity. So now, with this chest piece here, the Mighty Cloth that you get from Act 2 from Tally the Vendor, you're going to be at 20 strength. And that's really important because 20 strength is when you can start picking up heavier enemies. You could also just easily farm Elixirs of Giant Hill Strength and also use that throughout your playthroughs. It gives you 21 strength base and it lasts until your next long rest. But what's great with this build now, because you are an Eldritch Knight, you can pick almost any weapon and turn it into a thrown weapon. For example, this Bloodied Great Axe. I'm going to take it and I'm going to equip it. Because you are an Eldritch Knight, you get Weapon Bond. It literally states that the weapon will automatically return to your hand when thrown. And it does. I figured I'd give a quick rundown on how some endgame gear could work for this build. Once you get to Act 3, you do have access to the Bone Spike stuff, which is really powerful. The chest piece, the boots. Technically there's a helm as well, but I do find Horns of the Berserker to do a little bit more damage with the thrown stuff just because of the extra necrotic stuff. But you can use the Bone Spike helm as well if you would like. My stat spread on this character is a little skewed since I do have 1 extra point in Constitution due to the actual hag hair I had on this character. I'm using the gloves of dexterity, so I could not use any points in dexterity right now, and this guy's max level. However, you could completely respec this. If you wanted to use the other gloves I showcased earlier in the video for extra damage, you can. If you would rather use the elixir of the giant hill strength to give you 21 strength, you can drop all your points in strength and put them in other stuff. And if you would like to use the gauntlets of the giant hill strength that you get after dealing with Raphael, that gives you 23 strength base. So then you can put even more points into dex and constitution and things like that if you wanted. I do want to explain how this weapon works. So the legendary weapon here is actually pretty insane. This weapon will allow you to throw it, and it will always come back to your hand after you throw it. You gain increased movement speed by 10 feet, which is pretty insane because it also affects jump distance. And you have immunity to falling damage, which is really, really nice. It does permeate light. You can read right there, it says light. So what's really great about that is the passive, so you can turn that on or off. But with that passive, it actually affects the Kalos glow ring, because anytime you deal damage when a creature is illuminated, the Kalos glow ring will do 2 points of damage. And because you're also using the Ring of Flinging, for example, this will double dip. And if you use the other gloves, the Kushigo gloves I mentioned earlier in the video, it triple dips. So it's like really, really powerful. I have crossbows on this character, but it's really not needed since you're going to be throwing weapons anyway. It does have some cool weapon arts. The Zephyr Flash is literally just a charge ability you can use. Does thunder damage. And then the other one is a spell. Pretty much similar to like the actual spell in game, except you can actually use that while raging, which is really nice. Amulet, I mean, put here whatever you really want. I just have this here because my other characters are using other things. But I did want to showcase just, you know, at the end of the game, you can really customize this build to be how you want depending on the gear that you choose. I personally kind of like using the gloves of dexterity over the Kushigo gloves just because I don't have the gauntlets of hill strength on this file yet. But once I do, I am going to be using those and redistributing my points appropriately. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's been really fun making this throw build. You can use it throughout the entire game and it's super, super fun. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye. So sorry guys, I forgot to showcase where to get the endgame items, so I am going to showcase that in a moment. Final build, 3 points Berserker, 3 points Thief, that way you get the second bonus action, and then 6 points Fighter. The only feat required is Tavern Brawler. Second feat, choose what you want. Subclass, choose what you want.